We're going a bit old school today. Not a lot of West Ham news around, to be perfectly blunt. So we're going to have a little pick and mix, if you want, of a few of the West Ham stories that are doing the rounds, put them all together in one video. You've seen the title, what we're discussing today. I do want to start with Coufal, though, because that's probably the proper news, because that impacts on what's going to happen tomorrow in the European game. Don't expect to see him, really. He's got something called, and I hope I pronounce this correctly, plantar fasciitis. Now, that is, well, it's a sore foot, but that probably underplays it quite significantly. It's a problem with the arch of your foot, and it was suspected to be back within 2 weeks. I had a little look at it, and just saying, yes, it can clear up in 2 weeks, but it can also go on and on and on. And one of the things that you have to do is stay off of hard surfaces. You have to wear really padded footwear, and I just think any time he puts on a pair of boots, it's probably going to aggravate that. Really does put into play how important the right-back situation is. It's been a hard watch. I'm not going to keep repeating myself about Thilo Kehrer. You know what I think about his positional sense. Clearly, Ben Johnson didn't. I almost called him Glenn Johnson. Ben Johnson didn't play particularly well. I was going to say didn't play particularly well against Brighton. He was awful against Brighton. But they're going to need to sort something out there, really. I would not bank on him being back within 2 weeks from what I've seen. And then I've just been reading all about it on the NHS website. There you go. Done my research, haven't I, on that one anyway. I think... Look, we're being linked with Michael Carrick. Now, I'm pleased to hear us being linked with Michael Carrick. I think the Daily Mail and the Daily Mirror both ran with the story. And I was really pleased because they both used the same comments, which were, he is on the West Ham board's radar. Well, that's something, because in all honesty, I thought the West Ham board's radar was broken, because all that happened is Rafa Benitez kept on popping up on it. And I have thought for some time that they don't cast their net far and wide. They don't know what's going on the continent. I don't think they particularly trust people that are in the Championship. So I was pleased to hear that, because I don't think it's going to happen. It certainly won't happen this season. But I was pleased. Look, if they've both got the stories, two separate newspapers that aren't affiliated, and they're not, Daily Mail and the Daily Mirror are not affiliated at all, if they've both got the same quote, then they've clearly been briefed on it by somebody. If they've been briefed by somebody, then there's going to be some snippet of truth in it. It's always been my worry with West Ham, as we are at the moment under the current ownership, that we'll always go for this tried and I say tried and tested. It's not like, you know, the managers that we bring in have won trophies or anything like that, but the vast majority of them do seem to be, you know, the wrong age of the wrong end of the age spectrum. Let's put it that way. Premier League experience, all that sort of stuff. I'd love us to bring somebody in that was a young up-and-coming manager that looks exciting, that had his career in front of him. Carrick's done really, really well at Middlesbrough this season. At the last point I looked, which was a couple of days ago, they were up in third. Burnley are running away with it. I think it's Sheffield United possibly in second, but he's doing really well. Carrick at Middlesbrough, playing a really, really good brand of football there. So I was pleased to hear that, at least. A couple of other stories. Now, let me just point this out now, okay? I don't necessarily believe these stories, because how can these stories all be true? Because we don't know what division we are going to be in next season. This is really important. So how can we even possibly know what players we're going to look to buy? Under normal circumstances, I would hope that we have two lists. A list of players, potential targets for if we're down in the Championship, and a list of potential targets for if we're in the Premier League. But I have so little faith in the club at the moment, the way the club's run. I don't even think we can identify a manager. So why would we, if we have one managerial candidate, why would I be confident that we'd have two separate lists of players? I mean, that sounds highly organised stuff, and I'm not sure that's West Ham United at the moment. So I'm just reading you the news. Don't shoot the messenger. These are not my stories, okay? But you'll laugh because how could they be? Anyway, there we go. I'm going to read it anyway. Tammy Abraham. Tammy Abraham obviously was at Chelsea, went over to Italy, played really well, scored goals over there, went over and played for Roma, didn't he? Basically, some sources in Italy have said that Roma would accept 30 million plus Scamacca for Tammy Abraham. Now, whilst Tammy Abraham's done well, I think that would almost be valuing Tammy Abraham as a £60 million player. I don't know whether he's that. I really don't. But what a loss we would have taken on Scamacca if that's the case. Scamacca clearly isn't a very happy boy at all. I'm hoping that he starts tomorrow. We'll do that. I'll do a little video on the morning of tomorrow's game. We'll just look ahead to the game maybe on that. But would West Ham be interested in Tammy Abraham? Yeah, quite possibly. Would that be a good deal for West Ham? I think not. I mean, David Moyes got to stop hemorrhaging money on players, be it Vlasic, Scamacca, Halau, they didn't buy him, whatever, Anderson. He's got to start getting a tune out of these £30 million players, basically. So anyway, yeah, I don't believe so much of that. We were linked with another player, actually. Oh my goodness, sorry, I've just seen another article pop up now, just as I'm scrolling through. I'll just say, I discussed it with Coufal at the start. It said West Ham star's injury that medical experts claim could take a year to heal. That's really that's funny reading that, because honestly, I went and I searched the NHS website. Okay, I mean, that really is the doomsday scenario. Okay, I don't believe that it will take a year to heal. That's at its worst. But I also don't think it will take 2 weeks. I'm also not entirely sure he's going to be going out and representing Czech Republic. If he has the international break off 3-4 weeks, it's probably give it enough time to heal. The year, that don't sound good, does it? The other story was West Ham are eyeing Norwich City wide player. There we go. They only just signed him, apparently. Gabriel Sara. Signed a couple of players actually in the winter window. David Wagner, manager there, signed a couple of South American players from South America. This guy Sara is on the radar of West Ham, Atletico Madrid, and RB Leipzig. Between 25 and 30 million, wide player. Don't know anything about him. Not going to pretend otherwise. As I say, just reading the news on that anyway. Lots of bits and pieces. In fact, there's another article about this Sara. Another article where this is debunking the story of earlier about Michael Carrick, basically saying it's a non-story. Carrick has said that he's happy. I think it's an angry Borough pundit, but it sounds like it's a Borough fan who's a pundit for one of their prominent websites. And he said, I'm not worried or surprised. I don't have emotions attached to it because I think it's a non-story. So make Carrick to West Ham. Carrick has said that he's happy here and that he has respect towards West Ham because of his former club, but he's enjoying managing Middlesbrough. I believe him, so I don't really think there's anything to get worried about. Yeah, I may just going back to that. I know I've jumped from one story and back to another. I've done it a couple of times, but I'm just reading from a list of stories here. Yeah, I don't think Middlesbrough have got anything to worry about. I don't think Carrick would jump ship now, and nor should he, by the way. Nor should he. I think he's got every chance of getting them up. There was a little gap between them and Sheffield United, but not a massive one. It's Burnley that are well clear at the top. Anyway, the other one was Mourinho, wasn't it? So I do apologise. I was meant to discuss it the other day, and then things happened. West Ham played games, and one thing. West Ham's a bit of a disaster zone in terms of stories at the moment. I did laugh when I heard it. Yeah, I mean that one's believable. Do I want Mourinho? No. Do I think West Ham could afford Mourinho? No. Does Mourinho want to return back to London? Yes. I think his family are still here. I don't think his family have left since the last time that they were here with Chelsea. I mean, it's a trophy winner, isn't he? But it does seem to all go a bit pear-shaped for Mourinho at most clubs. He has a shelf life. Would Mourinho keep us up? Yes. But Jose Mourinho's not going to come into West Ham to do a firefighting job. He's going to come into West Ham if he's offered, 3-year contract and a budget, and a healthy budget. And West Ham have not got the same bargaining power as a bigger club, So, I mean, Chelsea can turn around to him and say, no, this is the way it's going to be. Because he's to a certain extent, he's going to be grateful to get that job. West Ham are going to have to be the grateful ones because he's a special one, right? He's the one that's won loads of trophies. So basically, Chelsea want to hire Mourinho. Man City, I'm not saying they do, but any of those big clubs want to hire Mourinho. Those big clubs, they tell Mourinho what's what. West Ham want to hire Mourinho. It's Mourinho that tells West Ham what's what. Anyway, there you go. Little roundup, little 10-minute roundup for you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow, obviously with the build-up. With a build-up show. We'll do a little video in the morning. We'll have the watch-along. We'll have the review. All the stuff. Anyway, there you go. I'll catch up with you tomorrow morning.